Hello and welcome back to another week of Sambo iRacing. We are back in the Porsche 911 GT3, this time at Mount Panorama, Bathurst, for yet another track guide. Now, if you want to drive the specific setup being used by Gianni Lutzu here, we have curated it. We have our own Patreon page where you can purchase our setup, so you can join us as a member and you can get access to everything that we produce every week, which is usually about a dozen for different cars. And it is Gianni Lutzu driving this lap. He's put an absolutely stunning time in, and if you want to get driver coaching, he's the guy to go to. Real life racing driver, full-time driver coach, 10,500 iRating, and a link to his website is in the description. So here we are, smashing it down the main straight, looking for our braking marker into turn one, which is just before the 50, braking up to about 50-55%, down to second gear, back on the gas, exit nice and wide. So apologies for the plug, but once again I'll mention, if you do want to race this setup curated by Gianni Lutzu, all you need to do is click on the link in the description for our Patreon page. 50 meter mark, brakes up to about 6%, down to third gear, again exit nice and wide using all the track, over to the right hand side, go through the apex, now on the brakes up to about 50%, trail off down to second gear. Now, if you want to try and beat my time here, I was at 2:03.5 on this setup. Gianni's slightly faster. Left as we go through there, back over to the left-hand side. We're going to go under this side. Once we get there, on the brakes up to about 30%. And then again, modulating the brakes as he goes through. Little blip in second gear, back on the gas in second. It's almost scraping the paintwork here on the sides. It's harder on the brakes. The reverse trail brake on this corner, as always. As we go down this straight, you're going to see Gianni stay to the middle to use the camber in the middle of the road. Can't do it in a Formula car though, you will bottom out. Over to the left-hand side. Now we cut back over to the right. Just before the 100, on the brakes up to about 75%, down to third gear, back on the gas. Goes flat through on the exit, using all the track once again. Final braking marker, just after the 100, on the brakes up to nearly 70%, down to second gear, clip the edge, exit wide, and over and across the line he goes in a 2-minute flat, 0.5. So 2:00.5. Breakdown lap next. Here we are on the breakdown lap. So first braking marker midway between the 100 and the 50. So as you can see, gets on the brakes, holds it at around 50-60%, down to second gear, exits nice and wide. Right, for turn two. This little road on the left-hand side. As we get there, you see on the brakes up to about 60%, holds it, trails it off down to third. Again, not wanting to clip that inside curb because it can send you out. Exit nice and wide without hitting the wall. Always trying to avoid hitting the wall. There's a tip for you. Right, once we go through this apex, on the brakes up to about, what, holds it? Yeah, it's up to about 50%, trails it off down to second gear. And now we go flat up this hill. Or the mountain, whatever it is. But unlike the Ferrari, he does do a little lift just here, as you see, and then back on the gas. Exits wide without hitting that wall, and now a lift once we get to this crest. And then back on the gas in fifth. Over to the left-hand side. So we're going to go flat until we go through this Coates higher thing. Then he does a lift, gets on the brakes up to about 30%, and then goes slightly higher for the next apex. And then just modulates it down to second. Once we go through this apex, we're going to do a little blip of gas, as you see, and it comes off the gas, back on the brakes, and then flat out as soon as the car hits the floor. Going to do a lift to go through here, and then we slightly get harder on the brakes, getting up to a peak of about 55%, trails it off, back on the gas exactly where we are now in second. Over to left-hand side, out flat. Braking marker just before the 100, as you can see. Well, I mean, actually, we've only just gone through the 150. You can see him already on the brakes. Reaches a peak pressure of nearly 80%. Trails it off, back on the gas at the apex. Cuts that corner. Exits wide. One final braking marker. And it's going to be just after the 100 board. So on the brakes up to about 65%, wipes all that speed off, down to second gear, back on the gas at the apex. Exit wide and across the line. So we've got one final version coming up next with the driving line on, but without me talking. Enjoy.